Bibles and open to Acts 12. I'm just going to kind of use this as a springboard, and I'm just going to ramble for a little bit. I could make this much more intense than I'm going to. I just feel nicer. You know, it's easier to fake repentance with tears than it is without. It's harder to fake repentance with tears than without. Any definition of God's sovereignty that allows for evil to exist as a part of his will and purpose is an immoral definition of sovereignty. I don't have all the answers I want to have. I don't even have correct language in many cases in having to do with sovereignty. So I'm going to ask you to be patient with me. I've been toying with this for 10 years, and I just feel like I need to incite responsibility in the people of God. There are many who believe that whatever happens in life is just God's will. Somebody dies at a young age. We don't know why it was God's will, and he needed another angel or some stupid thing. And sometimes when you're in pain, you grasp for answers, and anything ridiculous or not seems to bring comfort, but it's just simply not the truth. And sometimes as pastors, we get put in positions where we're forced to give answers that God is not answering. And sometimes our need for mystery is as important as our need for understanding. And learning to believe. See, faith isn't needed where there's high revelation. Faith isn't as important where there's great understanding as when there's mystery. And it's vital that we learn how to live in the midst of mystery where we can't explain things, but yet we know that he's good, we know that he's true, we know that he's with us, and we know we can trust him. We know that we can trust him to any outcome. And let me just give a couple situations. Jeremiah in the Bible, God actually hid him in one place. He was being sought for, and it says, and God hid him. It says Jesus walked through a crowd of people that wanted to kill him. He walked right through the crowd, and they didn't see him. Yet they saw Stephen and killed him. And when they wanted to kill Peter, the church prayed, and he was released. I personally think it's lazy theology that looks at something that happens and assumes that it was God's will. Again, I need you to be kind of merciful to me as I fight for language. I want to describe to you the will of God. There are two words in the New Testament for the will of God. One is a word that means this has been absolutely decided. There's nothing you can do to change it. For example, Jesus is coming back. You can vote yes, you can vote no. It won't change the outcome. He's coming back. You can say I don't agree with it. You can say I totally agree with it. Doesn't matter. He's coming back, period. There are other things that are his will that are actually determined by your and my influence. And there's many who don't like any definition of the sovereignty of God that leaves it open to where you and I would have influence. But this is the deep concern for me. I had somebody ask me this morning if I taught on Revelation or Daniel. And I love both books. I don't teach on them a lot, and they reminded me it's the last days. Yeah, I know. Sorry about that. Some people carry that kind of a message, and I applaud that. Where I pour my time is where we have responsibility, and I do that without apology. My attention is what has God given me to do. What is it that what kind of effect can we have on the outcome of things? We know that Jesus is going to return. That has been established. You vote yes, you vote no, it doesn't matter. But there are other factors, other matters. God is not willing that any should perish. Is anybody perishing? Yes. This is easy? This is an open book test if you need it. God is not willing that any should perish. Is anyone perishing? Yeah. So it's not God's will. So we can't assume that because it happened, it was God's will. Well, whatever will be, will be. No. People say that who don't have a clue as to how God looks to your influence, your prayer, your lifestyle to carry the mandate of God's purposes in the earth. What I'm going to give you is going to sound more cut and dry than what it is. The bottom level, the lowest